His 10th birthday, at Boston's most expensive restaurant, my daughter Rebecca looked me in the eye and said, "Mom, stop wasting my money on this slavery garbage." Then she threw my grandmother's $50 treasury bond into the ice bucket with the champagne. I'm Lily King. I'm 75 years old. I didn't cry. I didn't argue. I just smiled, stood up from that table and said, "Okay, baby girl." Then I walked out into the cold Boston night and made one phone call that would cost my daughter everything she thought she owned. If you're listening from somewhere far away, drop your city in the comments so I can see how far this has traveled. And please, stay with me until the end. The Emerald sits on Boylston Street like a crown jewel, all crystal chandeliers and marble floors. The kind of place where a glass of water comes in Waterford crystal and costs more than a working person's lunch. I'd been there exactly 3 times in my life. Twice for business dinners when I was building King Logistics back in the 80s. Once for my late husband Robert's 60th birthday 10 years ago. Tonight was my granddaughter Maya's 10th birthday party. I sat at the far end of the long table, watching 27 guests laughing and drinking Moet and Chandon at $400 a bottle. I recognized most of them from the society pages. Derek Hastings' banker friends from his days at Goldman Sachs. Rebecca's country club crowd from Brookline. The kind of people who measure success by the size of their vacation homes in Martha's Vineyard. My daughter Rebecca sat at the head of the table in a cream-colored Chanel suit that cost more than I used to make in a month driving my first delivery truck. Her hair was blown out perfectly, her nails manicured French tips. She looked like she'd been born into this world of white tablecloths and wine lists thicker than the Bible. Sometimes I forgot she was my daughter at all. Derek, her husband, sat beside her in a navy Tom Ford suit, his silver Patek Philippe watch catching the light every time he raised his champagne glass. He was telling a story about his latest acquisition, a ski chalet in Aspen, and everyone was laughing at the punchline I couldn't quite hear. Maya sat in the middle, looking uncomfortable in a pink Dior dress that Rebecca had picked out. My baby granddaughter kept tugging at the collar like it was choking her. She caught my eye and gave me a small smile. That smile reminded me of my grandmother Sarah. Sarah King was born a slave in 1852 in Georgia, freed in 1865 at age 13. She worked as a laundress for white families in Atlanta for 23 years, saving every penny she could hide. In 1888, she bought a $50 treasury bond, the first one the government ever let a black woman purchase. She kept it in a Bible until the day she died in 1923, and she passed it to my mother with one instruction. "This ain't about the money, baby. This is about what we can build when we're free." My mother passed it to me in 1978 when I bought my first delivery truck and started King Logistics with $300 in my pocket and that $50 bond as collateral. And I was about to pass it to Maya. I reached into my purse, a simple black leather bag I'd carried for 15 years, and pulled out a small cream envelope. Inside was that same bond, now worth about $247 with accumulated interest. Not much by today's standards. Not much by the Emerald standards, where the appetizers cost more. But to me, priceless. I stood up, my knees creaking slightly. I was wearing my best dress, a simple navy blue number from Macy's that I'd bought on sale 3 years ago. Next to Rebecca's Chanel and the other women's designer everything, I looked like exactly what I was, an old woman, out of place. I walked around the table to where Maya sat. "Happy birthday, baby," I said, handing her the envelope. Maya's eyes lit up. She knew about the bond. I'd told her the story 100 times, the story of Grandma Sarah saving her freedom 1 penny at a time. The story of how that $50 became a truck, then 2 trucks, then a fleet, then King Logistics, a shipping and warehousing company that employed 437 people across New England. "Is it?" Maya whispered. "Open it, sweetheart." Before Maya could touch the envelope, Rebecca's hand shot out and snatched it from my fingers. The table went quiet. Rebecca opened the envelope and pulled out the bond certificate. Her face went through several expressions: confusion, disbelief, and then something I'd never seen before: disgust. "Are you kidding me, Mother?" she said, her voice loud enough for everyone to hear. She held up the bond like it was a piece of trash. $50? We're at the Emerald. The valet tip is more than this. I felt 27 pairs of eyes on me. "Rebecca, it's not about the amount," I said quietly. "It's about what it represents. It's our family tradition. Your great-great-grandmother—" "Oh, God, not the slavery stories again, Rebecca groaned, rolling her eyes. She turned to the table, her voice dripping with forced patience. My mother likes to tell these stories about our family history. She thinks it's inspiring or something. Several people shifted uncomfortably. A few laughed, that polite, nervous laugh people make when they don't know what else to do. Derek leaned back in his chair, swirling his wine. Becca, maybe this isn't the time. No, Derek, it is the time, Rebecca cut him off. She looked directly at me, and her voice dropped to that tone I'd heard her use 100 times over the past 5 years. The tone that said I was a burden, an embarrassment, a relic of a past she'd worked so hard to escape. Mother, we appreciate the thought. We really do. But this is 2024. Maya doesn't need treasury bonds. She has a trust fund. She goes to Windsor School. She summers in the Hamptons. Your slavery stories. They don't work here. The word hung in the air like a slap. Slavery stories. As if my grandmother's freedom, bought with 2 decades of backbreaking labor, was just a story. A piece of folklore. Something quaint and outdated. I opened my mouth to respond, but Rebecca wasn't finished. She crumpled the bond, that precious piece of paper that had survived 136 years, and dropped it into the silver ice bucket where the Moet was chilling. Maya needs to understand the modern world, Rebecca continued, her voice sweet as poisoned honey. Not ancient history. We're building her future, not dwelling on the past. I looked at Maya. My baby granddaughter was staring at her plate, her face bright red with shame. Not shame for her mother. Shame for me. Shame because all her mother's elegant friends had just watched her grandmother get humiliated. I looked at Rebecca. Really looked at her. When had I lost her? Was it when I enrolled her in Windsor, the private school where she was one of 3 black girls in her grade? Was it when the other mothers whispered that she only got in because of affirmative action, and I worked myself sick to prove she deserved it? Was it when she came home crying because her classmates asked why her mother drove a truck instead of a Mercedes? I'd worked so hard to give her opportunities I never had. To open doors that were closed to me. To let her into rooms where people like us, black women from Dorchester, weren't supposed to sit. And somewhere along the way, she'd learned to be ashamed of where she came from. Derek cleared his throat. Mrs. King, perhaps you should head home. You look tired. Yes, Mother, Rebecca said, reaching into her Hermes purse. She pulled out a set of car keys, my car keys. The keys to my 2010 Honda Civic, the car I'd been driving for the past 14 years. Actually, Rebecca said, dangling the keys just out of my reach. You can't drive tonight. You've seemed confused lately. Forgetful. Derek and I think it's best if you don't drive anymore. For safety. I hadn't had a single sip of alcohol. Hadn't had any in 3 years since Robert died. Rebecca, I need my car to get home. You'll take an Uber, she said firmly. And Mother, we need to talk about some things. Your living situation. Your allowance. We've been more than generous, but there need to be some changes. What kind of changes? Rebecca smiled. It didn't reach her eyes. We'll discuss it when you get home. But let's just say, it's time for you to accept your reality. You're living in my house, on my charity. The least you can do is not embarrass me in front of my friends with your poverty gestures. My house. Those 2 words echoed in my head. My house. The mansion in Brookline with the circular driveway and the 3-car garage and the rose garden. The one I'd bought in 1995 with the profits from King Logistics. The one I'd signed over to Rebecca 5 years ago when Robert died, because she said it would be better for tax purposes. And you don't need all that space alone, Mom. My house. I looked around the table one more time. At the designer clothes and the expensive watches and the champagne that cost more than Grandma Sarah made in a year of washing white folks' clothes. I looked at my daughter, who had everything and appreciated nothing. I looked at my granddaughter, who was learning that her heritage was something to hide, and I made a decision. You're absolutely right, Rebecca, I said quietly. I should go home. I turned and walked toward the exit, leaving my car keys in her hand. Behind me, I heard her say to the table, I'm sorry about that, everyone. She's getting older. We're looking into assisted living options. For her own good, of course. The table murmured sympathetic agreement. I pushed through the heavy glass doors and stepped out into the November night. It was 43 degrees and I didn't have a coat. I'd left it at the table. I stood on Boylston Street, watching the valets bring around Teslas and BMWs for the other diners. A man in a tuxedo looked at me, saw my Macy's dress and my 20-year-old shoes, and looked away quickly. I pulled out my cell phone, a simple iPhone 8 that Rebecca had given me last Christmas, with the comment, "I got you the old model. You don't need anything fancy." I didn't call an Uber. I called Patricia Monroe. Patty picked up on the second ring. "Lily, what's wrong?" "It's time, Patty," I said. "Execute protocol, Black Queen." There was a long pause on the other end. "Lily, honey, are you absolutely sure? Once we do this, there's no going back." I looked back through the glass doors of the Emerald. I could see Rebecca laughing, raising her champagne glass in a toast. Maya sat alone at her end of the table, staring at the ice bucket where my grandmother's freedom floated like garbage. "She called it slavery garbage, Patty. She threw Grandma Sarah's bond away like trash." "Oh, Lord." "I'm sure. Do it. All of it." "I'll make the calls tonight," Patty said. "The paperwork will be filed first thing Monday morning." "Lily, are you okay? Where are you?" I'm standing outside the Emerald in a 15-year-old dress with no coat, while my daughter tells her friends I'm senile. "You need me to come get you?" "No," I said. "I'm going to walk. I need to think." "Lily, it's November. It's freezing." "I've been cold before, Patty. I'll survive." I hung up and started walking. It was 5.3 miles from the Emerald to the Brookline mansion. I knew because I'd mapped it once, back when I was still allowed to drive, and Rebecca first started forgetting to pick me up from my doctor's appointments. I arrived home at 11:47 p.m. The mansion was dark except for a single light in the master bedroom, Rebecca and Derek's room. My room was in the basement. Rebecca had moved me down there 2 years ago, saying the upstairs bedroom I'd been using was needed for a home gym. I let myself in through the side door, the servant's entrance from when the house was built in 1923. How fitting. The basement stairs creaked as I descended. My room was at the end of the hallway, past the furnace and the storage closets. It was exactly 12 feet by 14 feet. I knew because I'd measured it once, comparing it to the slave quarters I'd seen at a plantation museum in Virginia. Smaller, actually. There was a narrow single bed with a thin mattress, a pressed wood dresser from IKEA, and a bathroom the size of a closet. No windows, no natural light, just a fluorescent bulb that hummed and flickered. I sat on the edge of the bed in the dark. My hands were still trembling, but not from the cold. From rage, from heartbreak, from something I couldn't quite name. Did I fail her? The question had been circling my mind for the entire walk home. Had I failed Rebecca? Had I pushed her too hard to fit into their world? Had I not loved her enough? Loved her too much? I remembered the day she was born, February 3rd, 1982, Massachusetts General Hospital, 6th floor. I was 30 years old, unmarried, running a small trucking company with 3 vehicles and 2 employees. The nurses at the registration desk took one look at me, a black woman in work clothes, and asked if I had insurance. When I showed them my Blue Cross card, they were surprised I could afford the private birthing suite. Rebecca came into this world screaming, beautiful, perfect. Robert and I married 6 months later. He was a good man, my business partner, my best friend, my co-parent. We built King Logistics together, brick by brick, contract by contract. We dealt with the racism, the banks that wouldn't loan to us, the clients who didn't want to work with a black-owned company. We shielded Rebecca from all of it. Maybe that was our mistake. We sent her to the best schools. We moved to Brookline so she could be in the best district. We bought her the clothes, the lessons, the opportunities. We worked ourselves to exhaustion so she would never face what we faced, and somewhere along the way, she learned to despise the struggle that made her possible. I stood up and walked to the small dresser. I pulled out the bottom drawer and removed a false bottom I'd installed myself. Underneath was a black leather portfolio. Inside that portfolio were documents that would destroy my daughter's entire life. I'd been collecting them for 2 years, ever since the day Rebecca told me I was lucky she let me live in her house. Ever since the day she started calling me forgetful and confused in front of Maya, planting the seeds of incompetence. I opened the portfolio and reviewed the contents. Document 1, original deed to 847 Brookline Avenue, purchased May 12, 1995, for $1.2 million. Owner, Lily King. Document 2, quitclaim deed signed by me on August 3, 2019. transferring ownership to Rebecca King Hastings. Signed under the belief it was for estate planning purposes. Document 3. Trust Agreement for the King Family Trust, established 1998. Grantor, Lily King. Beneficiary, Rebecca King Hastings, conditional upon maintaining familial respect and care for the grantor. Document 4. Codicil to Robert King's will, executed May 2014, 6 months before he died. Specific clause protecting my rights if Rebecca ever demonstrated financial or emotional abuse toward Lily. Robert knew. He'd seen the warning signs even before I did. Document 517. Bank statements showing transfers from King Logistics corporate accounts to Rebecca's personal accounts. Total, $847,293 over 5 years. All authorized by her as CEO. All unaccounted for in company books. Document 18 to 24. Property records showing 7 properties purchased in Rebecca and Derek's names using King Logistics lines of credit. Total value, $4.3 million. Document 25. Private investigators report on Derek Hastings, commissioned by Robert in 2019, revealing Derek's first marriage never ended. He's still legally married to Jennifer Hastings of Greenwich, Connecticut. Bigamy. Document 26. My current will, last updated October 2024. Maya King named as primary beneficiary with Grace Williams as trustee until Maya turns 25. I'd been preparing for this moment for 2 years. I pulled out my second phone, the one Rebecca didn't know about. A cheap Samsung I'd bought at a Walmart with cash and registered under Patricia Monroe's name. I sent 3 text messages. To Patty. Execute, Monday 8 a.m., to Grace Williams, emergency board meeting, Tuesday 9 a.m., your interim CEO. To Jamal Rodriguez. Need security detail personal 24/7, rate $5,000 per day. All 3 responded within minutes. Patty. Consider it done. Stay safe. Grace. On it. Do we need to move assets? Jamal. Team ready, give me the address. I looked around the basement room one last time. At the concrete walls painted institutional white. At the single bed where I'd spent the last 2 years of my life. At the space that was smaller than the room my grandmother had in the house where she worked as a laundress. My phone buzzed. It was a text from an unknown number. The area code was 646, New York. It said, Mrs. King, I hope you're safe. Maya made me promise to text you. She wants you to know she kept the bond. She fished it out of the ice when nobody was looking. She says she loves you. Ms. Patterson, Maya's teacher. I sat back down on the bed, and for the first time all night, I allowed myself to cry. Not for what I was about to do, but for the fact that my 10-year-old granddaughter had more respect for our family legacy than her 42-year-old mother. I dried my eyes. I opened the portfolio again and pulled out one more document I'd been saving. It was a photograph. Grandma Sarah, circa 1920, standing in front of her small house in Atlanta. She was wearing her Sunday best, a simple cotton dress she'd made herself. In her hands she held that $50 bond, and she was smiling. On the back, in my mother's handwriting. She paid for her freedom. Make sure yours is worth something. I put the photo in my pocket. Then I packed a single bag with 3 changes of clothes, my medications, my documents, and the framed photo of Robert on our wedding day. At 12:43 a.m., I walked up the basement stairs, left my key on the kitchen counter, and walked out the side door for the last time. Jamal was waiting in an unmarked black SUV at the end of the driveway. Where to, Ms. King? He asked. The Ritz-Carlton, Boston Common, I said. Presidential suite. Yes, ma'am. As we pulled away, I looked back at the mansion. The light in Rebecca's bedroom was still on. Tomorrow morning she would wake up thinking she still owned the world. By noon she would discover she owned absolutely nothing. Rebecca King Hastings woke up to sunlight streaming through the floor-to-ceiling windows of the master bedroom. She stretched in the California king bed with its fret linens, $1,500 for a set, and reached for her phone. The screen showed 17 missed calls, all from the same number, King Logistics corporate line. That was strange. It was Saturday. The office shouldn't be calling on Saturday. She scrolled past the calls and checked her calendar. 10 a.m. Breakfast at Mistral with the country club ladies. 2 p.m. Maya's piano recital. 6 p.m. Dinner at uni. A perfectly scheduled Saturday. Derek stirred beside her. What time is it? 7:30. Go back to sleep. He rolled over and she noticed his Patek Philippe on the nightstand. $47,000. He'd bought it last month with the bonus from, what had he called it? The Henderson deal. Rebecca had stopped asking questions about Derek's finances a long time ago. It was easier that way. She got out of bed and walked to her closet. 200 square feet of organized perfection. Rows of Chanel, Prada, Gucci. Shoes arranged by color and season. Handbags on illuminated shelves. She'd come a long way from the days when her mother drove her to Windsor School in a delivery truck. God, last night. The way her mother had just stood there, holding out that ridiculous bond like it was worth something. Like anyone at the Emerald cared about some yellowed piece of paper from 1888. Rebecca had felt the old familiar embarrassment wash over her. The same feeling she'd had when she was 12, and her mother showed up to school pickup in work boots and a King Logistics uniform. The same feeling when the other mothers asked what her family did and she had to say shipping. Not real estate or finance or law, but shipping. Like they were common laborers. She'd spent her entire adult life trying to erase that image. Trying to become the kind of woman who belonged at the Emerald, who summered in the Hamptons, whose daughter went to Windsor without anyone questioning whether she deserved it. And her mother kept dragging her back to Dorchester, to those slavery stories, to the world Rebecca had worked so hard to escape. Her phone rang. King Logistics again. This time she answered. Hello? Mrs. Hastings, this is Grace Williams. Rebecca frowned. Grace was the COO, her mother's protégée, an uptight woman in her late 30s who took everything too seriously. Grace, it's Saturday. This better be important. I'm afraid it is. I need you to come to the office immediately. Excuse me? There's been a development with the company accounts and with your position. Rebecca felt a flutter of anxiety in her chest. What kind of development? I'd rather discuss it in person, Mrs. Hastings. Can you be here in an hour? I have plans. Cancel them. This is urgent. The line went dead. Rebecca stared at her phone. What the hell? She walked to her computer and logged into her banking app. The app she'd barely looked at in months because Derek handled all their finances now. He said it was his job as the man of the house. The app loaded. Checking account, $0. Savings account, $0. Joint account with Derek, $0. Investment portfolio, access denied. King Logistics corporate card, declined. Her hands started shaking. This was a mistake, a glitch. Banks had glitches all the time. She tried her American Express Black Card, the one with no limit. Declined. Reason: card reported stolen by account holder, L. King, Lily King, her mother. Rebecca's phone buzzed. A text from her personal banker at Bank of America. Mrs. Hastings, we've received formal notification that all accounts under the King Family Trust have been frozen pending legal review. Please contact Patricia Monroe, Esquire, for details. Michael Chen, Private Banking. Patricia Monroe, her mother's lawyer, her mother's best friend since college. Rebecca's anxiety exploded into full panic. She ran to Derek's side of the bed and shook him awake. Derek, wake up. Something's wrong with the accounts. He opened his eyes slowly. What? The bank accounts. They're all frozen, zeroed out. My cards are declined. Derek sat up, suddenly alert. He grabbed his phone and opened his banking app. His face went pale. What? Rebecca demanded. What is it? The accounts are gone. Everything's gone. That's impossible. We have... How much did we have? The joint account had $47,000. My personal account had $92,000. The investment account had... Jesus, Becca. We had $300,000 in investments. What about your accounts? From Goldman Sachs? Your bonuses? Derek's jaw tightened. Those are separate. But I'm seeing... Hold on. He scrolled furiously through his phone. What? Rebecca's voice was getting shrill now. The Henderson deal. The money from the Henderson deal. It was supposed to wire yesterday. And? It bounced. The account it was supposed to go into, it's closed. Rebecca's mind was racing. She ran to her closet and grabbed her laptop from the top shelf. She logged into the King Logistics Company portal. Access denied. User account deactivated. She tried her email. Access denied. She tried the company shared drive. Access denied. No, she whispered. No. Derek was on the phone now. Yes, this is Derek Hastings. Hastings. I need to speak to someone about my accounts. What do you mean all accounts linked to the King Family Trust? I don't have. He listened, his face getting darker. That's impossible. My wife is the CEO of King Logistics. We own. He stopped. What do you mean owned? Rebecca sank onto the edge of the bed. This wasn't real. This was a nightmare. Any second she would wake up and... Her phone rang. Patricia Monroe. She answered with shaking hands. Patty, what the hell is going on? Patricia's voice was professional, cold. So different from the warm Aunt Patty who used to braid Rebecca's hair when she was little. Good morning, Rebecca. I'm calling to inform you that effective 8 a.m. this morning, you have been removed as CEO of King Logistics by unanimous vote of the board of directors. That's impossible. I am the majority shareholder. No, Rebecca, you are never the shareholder. Lily King is the sole owner of King Logistics. She always has been. You were appointed CEO at her discretion, and that appointment has been terminated. You can't. She can't. Furthermore, the house you're currently residing in at 847 Brookline Avenue is owned by Lily King. She's giving you 72 hours to vacate the premises. If you're not gone by Tuesday at noon, the sheriff will remove you. That's my house. I've lived here for... It's Lily's house, Rebecca. It always was. You have 72 hours. Where is she? Let me talk to her. We can work this out. Lily has made her decision. I suggest you start packing. The line went dead. Rebecca dropped the phone. She looked at Derek, who was still frantically scrolling through his own phone, making calls, being told the same thing over and over. Access denied. Account closed. Funds frozen. We have to find her, Rebecca said. We have to find my mother and fix this. How? Derek snapped. We don't even know where she is. Rebecca thought about last night. About the way her mother had walked out so calmly. About the small smile on her face when she'd said, "You're absolutely right, Rebecca." It hadn't been surrender. It had been a promise. November 19th, 2024, 72 hours after losing everything, Rebecca King Hastings sat on a scratchy polyester bedspread in room 237 of the Best Western Framingham, $89 a night. The room was 12 feet by 14 feet, the exact size of her mother's basement room. Derek hunched over his laptop at the laminate desk, his face blue from the screen glow. $847, that's all we have left. What about your Goldman accounts? The Henderson deal? The deal collapsed when your mother froze everything. Derek's jaw clenched. My father won't help, says we made our bed. Maya sat cross-legged on the other bed in her Windsor uniform. I missed school again today. Miss Patterson says they'll report truancy. Rebecca's hands shook. Windsor tuition, $14,200, was due yesterday. She'd let the bursar's calls go to voicemail. Her phone buzzed, another creditor. She'd canceled her $200 phone plan that morning, switched to a $40 prepaid from CVS. Maybe you stay home tomorrow, baby, Rebecca said weakly. Why don't you just give Grandma back what you took? Maya pulled something from her backpack. The $50 bond, pressed flat in a plastic sleeve. She gave me this because she loves me. You threw it away because you only understand money. The words hit like a slap. Rebecca opened her mouth, but Derek's phone rang. He answered, listened, his expression shifting. Tomorrow at 10. We'll be there. He hung up. Private investigator. Says he can find your mother. How much? 5,000. Derek, we have 800. We need leverage. He looked at Maya. We make a video. Maya crying, begging her grandmother to come home. Post it online. The pressure forces Lily to contact us. No, we're not using Maya. Your mother used us. She put us on the street. Derek's voice turned smooth, persuasive. Just emotional. Nothing physical. Maya asks Grandma to come home. Simple. Rebecca looked at her daughter's frightened face. This was wrong, but they had $847 and nowhere to go. Just emotional, she heard herself whisper. Brookline Park. The same park where Rebecca used to push Maya on the swings. Derek positioned his iPhone on a $12 CVS tripod. We're making a video for Grandma, Derek told Maya. She's sick, dementia, and she's lost. If she sees you, she'll remember. She'll come home. Grandma seemed fine, Maya said. Sometimes sick people hide it well. Rebecca knelt beside her. Please, baby. Just say, Grandma Lily, please come home. I'm scared. What if she knows I'm lying? Rebecca's shame burned. She won't know. She's too confused. Derek pressed record. And, go. Maya looked into the camera. Real tears streamed down her face. Fear, confusion, her world collapsing in 3 days. Grandma Lily, please come home. Mommy says you're sick. Mommy says you're lost. I miss you. I'm scared. Perfect, Derek said, stopping the recording. Can we see Grandma now? Maya asked. Soon, Rebecca lied. I was drinking chamomile tea, watching sunrise over Boston Common, when my phone buzzed. Grace. They posted the video, 47,000 views already. I clicked the link. My granddaughter, tears streaming, begging me to come home. My hands shook so hard I had to set down my cup. Patty looked up from her documents. What is it? I showed her. That manipulative. Patty stopped. It's bait, Lily. They made her cry. My voice cracked. They made my baby cry for a video. What do you want to do? I watched it again. Maya's genuine fear, Rebecca's desperation. My phone rang. Unknown number. Mrs. King? Detective Santos, Boston PD. Your daughter filed a missing person report. She claims you have dementia. This video, Detective, I'm at the Ritz-Carlton Presidential Suite, room 1901. I left voluntarily. I'm competent in managing my company. Would you like my attorney's number? Silence. You're at the Ritz? Presidential Suite. You can verify my well-being anytime. But for the record, my daughter isn't homeless because I abandoned her. She's homeless because she embezzled $847,000. Case number 2024-CR-18734 with the DA's office. He hung up quickly. Grace called next. Videos at 500,000 views. Press is calling. How do we respond? Leak my location. Patty's head snapped up. Lily, tell that PI Derek hired I'm at Boston General Hospital. Checked in last night. Looked confused. You're setting a trap. I'm giving them what they want. On my terms. I pulled out an envelope. Inside, cashier's check for $500,000 in a contract. She takes the money, signs away King Logistics rights, accepts supervised visitation with Maya, or we go to court and I take everything. That's generous. That's mercy. She's still my daughter. And if she refuses? I thought of Maya crying on camera. Then no mercy at all. I sat in a wheelchair in the main lobby, wearing a cotton dress and cardigan, hair mussed, reading glasses on my nose. A confused elderly woman. Jamal and his team positioned around the lobby in plain clothes. Patty in the coffee shop. Reverend Bailey beside me, holding my hand. At 2:53, the automatic doors opened. Rebecca rushed in, pulling Maya by the hand. Derek followed. Grandma. Maya broke free and ran to me, sobbing. I thought you were lost. I held her tight. I'm right here, baby. I'm not lost. Rebecca approached slowly. Unwashed hair. Same clothes from the video. No makeup. Dark circles. She looked like I'd felt for 2 years in that basement. Mom. Thank God. We've been so worried. I stood up from the wheelchair. Rebecca froze. I straightened my spine, removed the glasses. Not confused, not vulnerable. Lily King, CEO. Hello, Rebecca. You're not sick. No, baby, I'm tired. There's a difference. Derek stepped forward. Mrs. King, surely we can. Jamal materialized at his elbow. Sir, step back. Derek stepped back. I knelt to Maya's level. Go with Reverend Bailey while I talk to your mama. Are you coming back? I promise. Maya left reluctantly. I pulled out the envelope. Rebecca, you have a choice. Take what's in here and start over, or refuse and we go to court. Either way, I'm getting custody of Maya. The question is whether you leave with something or nothing. Rebecca opened it. $500,000. This is a bribe. This is mercy. Take the money. Sign away King Logistics. Accept supervised visitation. Get therapy. Get a job. Build your own life. And if I refuse? Patty stepped forward with a folder. Trial, where I present evidence of embezzlement, $847,293. Fraud, elder abuse, and child exploitation, That video you posted this morning. Rebecca paled. That video was to find you. That video was filmed at 9:17 a.m. in Brookline, 2 hours before you reported me missing. I have the metadata. Derek grabbed for the check. We'll take it. Rebecca slapped his hand. Don't touch it. She looked at me. You'd really take Maya? I'd save her from becoming you. I pulled out a second envelope. And there's something else. This is a DNA test from 1983. Robert King wasn't your biological father. The lobby tilted. What? I had an affair. James Patterson. He died in 1987. Never knew about you. But Robert raised you knowing you weren't his blood. He changed your diapers, paid for your school, walked you down the aisle. He loved you because he chose you. I stepped closer. Family isn't blood, Rebecca. It's choice. Robert chose you. I chose you. You threw that away for designer handbags and country clubs. I held out the envelope again. Choose now. Take the money and rebuild. Or fight me and lose everything. Rebecca looked at Derek. Derek stared at the check like a drowning man. Take it, he hissed. Rebecca's hand reached out and pulled back. No, everyone froze. I won't sign away my daughter. Maya isn't for sale. Rebecca looked me in the eye. You taught me that when I was 7, when Dad's partner offered the buyout. You said some things aren't for sale. For the first time in 2 years, I saw my real daughter. Then we go to court, I said quietly. Then we go to court, Derek exploded. Are you insane? Take the money. Get out, Derek. What? The Henderson deal. There was no Henderson deal, was there? How much did you steal? Patty spoke. 17 wire transfers to Cayman accounts, $412,000, all with your digital signature, which Derek accessed. Rebecca closed her eyes. Also, Patty continued, Derek's still married to Jennifer Hastings of Greenwich. Your marriage is invalid. Rebecca swayed. I caught her arm. Sit. She sat. I'm sorry, Mama, I'm so sorry. I knelt beside her. Sorry isn't enough. You have to do the work. Therapy, job, earning trust back. Can you? I don't know. That's the first honest thing you've said in 5 years. I handed her the envelope again. Take this as a loan. Get an apartment. Get therapy. Get a job. Real job, not CEO. Earn supervised visitation. Prove you can be the mother Maya deserves. Then we talk about joint custody. And if I fail? You fail, but you'll fail trying instead of lying. Rebecca took the envelope with shaking hands. Thank you, Mama. Don't thank me yet. You haven't done the work. 2 weeks later, I stood before the King Logistics Board. Grace presented the audit. $3.2 million lost under Rebecca's tenure, but we're solvent. $47 million in assets, $12 million operating capital. Derek Hastings charged with wire fraud and bigamy, Patty added. Rebecca's cooperating for immunity. Her position? Martin Chen asked. Terminated, but I offered entry-level community outreach, $47,000 a year. She can advance on merit. Why not destroy her? Dorothy Washington asked. Because destroyed people don't heal, and unhealed people raise unhealed children. December 1st, I picked Maya up from Boston Public Schools, not Windsor. Grandma, I made a friend. Destiny taught me to braid hair. Maya showed me her messy, crooked, beautiful braid. We drove to my modest Roslindale Colonial. Rebecca's 2015 Accord in the driveway. Inside, Rebecca cooked spaghetti. I'm not very good yet. It's perfect. We sat at the small kitchen table. 3 generations. Maya said grace. Thank you for this food, and Grandma Lily who bought it, and Mommy who cooked it, and Grandma Sarah who made all this possible. Amen. Maya laid the $50 bond on the table. Can I do my history project on Grandma Sarah? On how she bought her freedom? Rebecca touched the bond with one finger. I'm sorry I threw this away, Mama. I know, baby. How do I teach Maya to value this when I didn't? I took Rebecca's hand. The same way Grandma Sarah taught me. One story at a time, one choice at a time, one day at a time. My phone buzzed. Patty. Court date January 15th. Derek trying to make a deal. I put my phone away. Whatever came next, we'd face it together. As a family. The real kind. The kind you choose. December 15, 2024, 4 weeks after the hospital confrontation, Rebecca sat in Dr. Angela Morrison's office for her 8th therapy session. "Tell me about the basement," Dr. Morrison said. Rebecca closed her eyes. "I put my mother in a 12 by 14-foot room with concrete walls. No windows, a single bed, like a prison cell." "Why?" "Because," Rebecca's voice cracked. "Because I was ashamed of her. Of where we came from. She drove a delivery truck. She talked about slavery and struggle and sacrifice. And I just wanted to be normal, to fit in with the Brookline mothers, the country club women." "What did fitting in cost you?" "Everything." Rebecca opened her eyes. "My mother, my integrity, my daughter's respect, myself." Dr. Morrison leaned forward. "Rebecca, you've made real progress. You've been working at King Logistics for 3 weeks. How's it going?" "I'm a community outreach coordinator. $47,000 a year. I help connect local minority-owned businesses with our supply chain." Rebecca smiled slightly. "Last week I helped a Haitian woman get a contract for her packaging company. She cried when I told her. Said nobody ever gave her a chance before." "How did that feel?" Like maybe this is what Mama felt when she started. When she was the underdog. Before I turned her into one again." "The custody hearing is in 4 weeks. Are you ready?" Rebecca's hands trembled. "I don't know. Derek's lawyer is trying to make me look incompetent, saying I abandoned Maya, that I'm unstable. Are you?" "Not anymore." Rebecca looked at the framed photo on Dr. Morrison's desk. Dr. Morrison with her own teenage daughter. "I'm fighting for supervised visitation, not full custody. I know I'm not ready for that. But I need Maya to know I'm trying." "That's growth, Rebecca." That night, Rebecca sat in her small 1-bedroom apartment in Jamaica Plain, $700 a month, paid with Lily's loan. She was reviewing documents for the custody hearing when her phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello? Mrs. Hastings? This is Jennifer Hastings, Derek's actual wife." Rebecca's blood went cold. "What do you want?" "I want you to know the truth about who you married." The courtroom was smaller than Rebecca expected. Oak paneling, fluorescent lights, the seal of Massachusetts behind the judge's bench. Judge Patricia Halloway, 63 years old, stern expression, presided. On one side, Lily King, with Patty Monroe and Grace Williams. On the other, Rebecca alone. She'd refused to hire a lawyer with her mother's loan money. "I need to face this myself," she told Dr. Morrison. In the gallery, Reverend Bailey, Jamal, a handful of King Logistics employees who'd come to support Lily, and Maya, sitting with a court-appointed child advocate. Derek sat in the back row, accompanied by his lawyer, a sharp-suited man named Richard Blackwood who specialized in custody battles. He was there to testify against Rebecca, to help destroy her chances of seeing Maya. Judge Halloway banged her gavel. "We're here for the matter of custody of Maya King Hastings. Ms. Monroe, you may begin." Patty stood. "Your Honor, Lily King is petitioning for full custody of her granddaughter Maya on grounds of parental unfitness. We have evidence of financial instability, emotional abuse, and child exploitation." She pulled up the viral video on the courtroom screen. Maya crying, begging for her grandmother. This video was staged by Rebecca Hastings and Derek Hastings on November 20, 2024. They used a child's genuine fear to manipulate public sympathy and locate Lily King for purposes of financial coercion. Judge Halloway watched the video, her expression darkening. "Ms. Hastings, did you create this video?" Rebecca stood. "Yes, Your Honor." "Knowing your daughter would be distressed?" "Yes." "Why?" Rebecca took a breath. "Because I was desperate, broke, scared. And I thought I could manipulate my mother into giving me back what I thought I deserved." She paused. "I was wrong. On every level." Ms. Monroe, continue. Patty presented evidence systematically. Exhibit A, bank records showing Rebecca embezzled $847,293 from King Logistics over 5 years. Exhibit B, property records showing 7 properties purchased with company credit, totaling $4.3 million. Exhibit C, security footage from November 3, 2024, showing Rebecca verbally abusing Maya in the mansion kitchen. Transcript reads, "You're weak like your grandmother. Her sob stories make you pathetic." Rebecca flinched. Seeing it in black and white made it worse. Exhibit D, medical records showing Lily King treated for malnutrition and vitamin D deficiency in October 2024, consistent with prolonged inadequate living conditions. Judge Holloway looked at Lily. Mrs. King, you were malnourished? The basement room had no kitchen, Your Honor. I was given a small allowance, $200 monthly, for food. It wasn't always enough. The courtroom went silent. Derek's lawyer stood. Your Honor, if I may, my client Derek Hastings wishes to testify regarding Rebecca Hastings' mental state and fitness as a parent. Proceed. Derek took the stand looking polished in a navy suit. The picture of concerned reasonableness. Mr. Hastings, Blackwood began, you lived with Rebecca and Maya for how long? 5 years. During that time, did you observe concerning behavior from Rebecca regarding her mother? Constantly. Rebecca was obsessed with her mother, paranoid that Lily was trying to take everything from her. She'd go through Lily's things, monitor her phone calls, restrict her movements. It was disturbing. Rebecca's jaw dropped. That's not... Judge Holloway held up a hand. You'll have your turn, Ms. Hastings. Derek continued, his voice smooth. Rebecca would tell Maya terrible things about Lily. That she was senile. That she couldn't be trusted. She poisoned their relationship deliberately. And the financial situation? Rebecca spent compulsively. I tried to help her budget, but she'd hide purchases. I discovered she'd been taking money from the company. I confronted her about it, tried to get her help. She refused. It was masterful. Every lie wrapped in just enough truth to sound credible. Mr. Hastings, in your professional opinion, is Rebecca fit to have custody of Maya? No. She needs serious psychiatric help. Maya would be at risk. Blackwood sat down, satisfied. Patty stood for cross-examination. Mr. Hastings, you said you tried to help Rebecca with finances. Is it true you accessed her digital signature to authorize wire transfers? Derek's smile faltered. I had authorization to, yes or no, did you use her signature without her explicit permission? The accounts were joint. Your Honor, I'm entering Exhibit E, forensic analysis of 17 wire transfers totaling $412,000 to Cayman Island accounts in Derek Hastings' name. Transfers Rebecca Hastings had no knowledge of until November 2024. Derek's face reddened. Those were investments. Investments you made with stolen money. Patty pulled out another document. Exhibit F, marriage certificate between Derek Hastings and Jennifer Hastings, dated June 2011. Greenwich, Connecticut. Never dissolved. The courtroom erupted in murmurs. You committed bigamy, Mr. Hastings. Your marriage to Rebecca is invalid. I can explain. Exhibit G, Patty's voice cut through. Birth certificates for Derek Hastings Jr., age 8, and Emma Hastings, age 6. Children from your legal marriage to Jennifer Hastings. Children you hid from Rebecca for 5 years. Rebecca stood up, her chair scraping loudly. You have children? Derek wouldn't meet her eyes. Patty wasn't finished. Exhibit H, email correspondence between Derek Hastings and an individual named Marcus Webb, dated March 2019, 1 month before Derek met Rebecca. She projected the emails on screen. From Derek Hastings to Marcus Webb, subject the mark, found her, Rebecca King, daughter of Lily King, net worth $50 million plus. She's vulnerable, desperate to fit into high society. Recently lost her father. I can get close. Reply from Marcus Webb. What's the play? Derek's response. Marry her, get access to the company. Bleed it slowly. Mother's old. We can push her out, declare her incompetent if needed. 5 years max, we're out with $10 million. The courtroom was dead silent. Rebecca's legs gave out. She sat down hard. Derek had targeted her, from the very beginning. Their entire marriage was a con. Judge Holloway's voice was ice. Mr. Hastings, did you write these emails? That was taken out of context. Did you write them? Yes, but, bailiff, please escort Mr. Hastings from my courtroom. I'm issuing a bench warrant for fraud, conspiracy, and perjury. Judge Holloway's gavel cracked like thunder. Mr. Blackwood, your client's testimony is stricken from the record, and you're fortunate I'm not charging you as an accessory. 2 bailiffs grabbed Derek. He thrashed, shouting. Becca, tell them this is crazy. Rebecca stared at him. The man she'd married. the man she'd chosen over her mother. He'd never loved her. He'd hunted her. "Get him out," Judge Holloway ordered. Derek was dragged from the courtroom, still screaming. Rebecca sat motionless, tears streaming silently down her face. Judge Holloway took a breath. "We'll take a 15-minute recess. Ms. Hastings, compose yourself. We still have a custody matter to resolve." After the recess, Judge Holloway looked at Rebecca. "Ms. Hastings, I've heard the evidence against you. Do you have anything to say?" Rebecca stood on shaking legs. "Your Honor, everything Ms. Monroe presented is true. I embezzled money. Not all of it, but some. I let Derek use my signature because I was too lazy to do the work myself. I put my mother in a basement and treated her like a burden. I used my daughter's tears for a video because I was desperate and selfish." She looked at Maya. "I don't deserve custody. I don't even deserve supervised visitation. But I'm asking for it anyway. Not because I've earned it, but because I want the chance to earn it. What have you done to demonstrate change?" "I've been in therapy for 8 weeks. I got a job, entry level at my mother's company, making $47,000 a year. I'm learning what my mother knew all along. Money isn't worth anything if you lose yourself to get it." Judge Holloway looked at Lily. "Mrs. King, you've heard your daughter's statement. What is your position?" Lily stood slowly. Everyone expected her to demand full custody, to end Rebecca's parental rights, to deliver the final blow. Instead, Lily walked to the center of the courtroom, holding a document. "Your Honor, I'm withdrawing my petition for full custody." The courtroom erupted. Patty jumped up. "Lily, what are you—" "I'm withdrawing it," Lily repeated firmly. "I don't want to take Maya from Rebecca. I want to heal Rebecca so she can be the mother Maya deserves." Judge Holloway leaned forward. "Mrs. King, you have every legal right. I know my rights. I also know what's right." Lily turned to Rebecca. "Baby girl, you made terrible mistakes. So did I." "Mama, you didn't. I taught you to be ashamed of where you came from. I sent you to schools where you were the only one who looked like you and didn't prepare you for that loneliness. I worked so hard to give you opportunities that I forgot to give you pride in who you already were." Lily's voice broke. "Derek targeted you because I made you vulnerable. I taught you that you needed their approval more than your own dignity. That's on me." "No. So here's what I'm proposing." Lily handed the document to Judge Holloway. "Joint custody. I have primary physical custody while Rebecca completes 1 year of therapy and maintains stable employment. She gets supervised visitation every weekend, increasing to unsupervised as she demonstrates consistency. At the end of 1 year, we reassess." "And if she fails?" the judge asked. "Then she fails. But she'll fail trying to be better, not failing while pretending to be perfect." Judge Holloway read the document. "This is extraordinarily generous, Mrs. King." "It's not generosity, Your Honor, it's love. And love means giving people the chance to become who they're meant to be." The judge looked at Rebecca. "Ms. Hastings, do you accept these terms?" Rebecca was crying openly now. "Yes. Thank you, Mama. Thank you." "Don't thank me yet, baby. You have to do the work." Judge Holloway banged her gavel. "Joint custody is granted under the terms proposed by Lily King. This court will review the arrangement in 12 months. Ms. Hastings, you have been given a gift. Don't waste it." "I won't, Your Honor." Maya ran from her seat and hugged both Lily and Rebecca, crying. "Does this mean we're a family again?" Lily and Rebecca looked at each other. "Yes, baby," they said together. "We're a family." 6 months later, the backyard of Lily's Roslindale house was filled with the smell of barbecue and the sound of laughter. Grace Williams flipped burgers on the grill, her husband and 2 kids playing cornhole with Maya. Jamal and his wife sat at the picnic table with Reverend Bailey, debating the Red Sox's chances. Patty poured lemonade for everyone, occasionally checking her phone for the sentencing update on Derek. The trial had concluded last week. Verdict: guilty on all counts. Sentencing today. Rebecca emerged from the kitchen carrying a potato salad she'd made herself. Not catered. Actually made. "Mama, I used Grandma Sarah's recipe. The one you gave me. Did I get it right?" Lily tasted it. "Perfect, baby." Rebecca beamed. She looked different. Lighter. Her hair was natural now. No more expensive straightening treatments. She wore jeans and a simple blouse from Target. No designer labels. She'd been at King Logistics for 6 months. Last week she'd been promoted to Regional Community Outreach Manager. $62,000 a year. Earned. Mama? Maya ran over holding something. Look what Ms. Grace gave me. It was a small frame. Inside, a photocopy of Grandma Sarah's $50 bond with text below. Sarah King, born enslaved 1852, freed 1865, saved $50 over 20 years. Bought this bond 1888. Used it to purchase her freedom and her future. She is the foundation of the King family legacy. Never forget where you came from. We're putting it in the King Logistics main lobby, Grace said, so every employee knows what this company was built on. Sacrifice, dignity, freedom earned. Rebecca's phone buzzed. A text from Dr. Morrison. Proud of you. 6 months sober from shopping addiction. 6 months of honest work. Keep going. Another text, this one from an unknown number. Derek Hastings sentenced to 12 years federal prison. ADA office. Rebecca showed Lily. How do you feel? Lily asked. Sad, angry, relieved. Rebecca paused. Grateful it's over. He targeted you because he saw vulnerability. That's not your fault. No, but staying with him, choosing him over you, that was my fault. They sat together on the porch steps watching Maya play. She's doing well at her new school, Lily said. Her teacher says she's the kindest kid in the class, always helping others. She gets that from you. She gets it from Grandma Sarah. From all of us. Lily took Rebecca's hand. We break cycles, baby girl. We don't repeat them. After everyone left, after the dishes were washed and the leftovers put away, the 3 King women sat at the kitchen table. Maya had a school assignment spread out in front of her. I have to write about my hero. I'm writing about Grandma Sarah. She read aloud. My hero is Sarah King, my great-great-great-grandmother. She was born a slave, but she didn't stay one. She saved $50 over 20 years by washing white people's clothes. In 1888, she bought a treasury bond with that money. That bond became collateral for my great-grandmother's first business loan. That loan became a truck. That truck became King Logistics. People think $50 is nothing. But Grandma Sarah's $50 bought 4 generations of freedom. It bought my Grandma Lily's company. It bought my mother's second chance. It's buying my future. I keep the original bond in a frame over my bed. When I look at it, I remember. I come from women who bought their freedom with quarters and dimes. Women who built empires with courage and patience. Women who chose love over revenge. That's worth more than all the money in the world. Maya looked up. Is it good? Lily and Rebecca were both crying. It's perfect, baby, Lily whispered. Rebecca pulled out an envelope. Mama, I have something for you. Inside was a check. $50,000. It's the first payment on the $500,000 you loaned me. I know we said I had 5 years, but I wanted to start paying it back. To show you I'm serious. Lily stared at the check. Baby, you don't have to. Yes, I do. Grandma Sarah didn't accept charity. She earned her freedom. I'm earning mine. Lily folded Rebecca into her arms. I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of me too. For the first time in my whole life, I'm proud of myself. Maya joined the hug, the 3 of them holding each other in the small kitchen. Outside, the July sun was setting over Roslindale, painting the sky orange and purple. Inside, 3 generations of King women sat together, bound not by blood alone but by choice, by struggle, by the $50 bond that represented everything their family had overcome. Grandma Lily? Maya asked. When I grow up, what should I do with the bond? Should I keep it or use it? Lily smiled. What do you think Grandma Sarah would say? Maya thought about it. She'd say, freedom isn't about keeping it safe. It's about using it to free others. Then that's your answer, baby. Rebecca looked at her mother. How did you know I'd come back? How did you know I wouldn't just take the money and run? Because, Lily said, underneath all the Louis Vuitton and the country club memberships and the shame you learned from a world that didn't want you, you were still my daughter. Still Grandma Sarah's granddaughter. Still a King woman. And King women don't run. No, baby. King women stand up. King women do the work. King women break the chains. Even the ones we put on ourselves. Maya yawned. Can I go to bed now? Of course, baby. As Maya headed upstairs, Rebecca and Lily sat in comfortable silence. Mama? Yes, baby? Thank you for not giving up on me. Thank you for not giving up on yourself. They sat there as the kitchen grew dark, two women who had lost each other and found their way back. Not through money, not through revenge, but through the hardest work of all: forgiveness, accountability, and love. 1 year later, the King Logistics Annual Shareholders Meeting, January 2026. Lily stood at the podium, 76 years old, addressing 200 employees and stakeholders. This year, King Logistics celebrated its 45th anniversary. We posted record profits of $18 million. We expanded into 3 new states. We hired 120 new employees, 40% of them women of color, 15% formerly incarcerated individuals getting second chances. Applause. But our biggest achievement wasn't financial. She gestured to the back of the room, where a large portrait had been unveiled. Grandma Sarah King, 1852 to 1923, holding her $50 bond. This woman, my grandmother, bought her freedom for $50. She taught me that wealth isn't what you have. It's what you do with what you're given. Lily looked at Rebecca, sitting in the front row in her regional manager uniform. This year, I learned that the greatest wealth is family. Not the family you're born into, but the family you choose to become. She paused. I'm 76 years old. I've been CEO of this company for 45 years, and today, I'm announcing my retirement. Gasps. Effective immediately, Grace Williams is your new CEO. Grace stood, shocked. Lily, you've earned it, Grace. You've been running this company for years anyway. Lily smiled. I'm not dying. I'm not sick. I'm just done. Done working 80-hour weeks. Done missing my granddaughter's school plays. Done choosing business over life. She stepped down from the podium and walked to Rebecca. I'm spending my retirement doing something I should have done 40 years ago. Teaching my daughter how to live free. Really free. Not from poverty, but from shame. From fear. From the need to prove anything to anyone. She took Rebecca's hand. Grandma Sarah gave us $50 and a lesson. Freedom is worth fighting for. Even when the fight is against yourself. The room stood in ovation. Later in the parking lot, Lily and Rebecca loaded boxes into Lily's Camry. Where are we going? Rebecca asked. Ghana. 3 months, you, me, and Maya. To see where Grandma Sarah's family came from before they were stolen. To learn our real history. To come home whole. Rebecca hugged her mother. I love you, Mama. I love you too, baby girl. They drove away from King Logistics together, toward something bigger than business, bigger than money, bigger than revenge. Toward freedom. The kind Grandma Sarah had bought for $50, the kind that lasts forever.